Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Tonight we want to talk to you about the difference between reality transurfing and the law of attraction. Pretty sure people know about the law of attraction. It's been around for over 100 years. I Googled it before we started because I knew it was out there for a long time. A lot of the old timers on the cassette tapes I listened to when I was a kid were talking about the law of attraction. And so I think I saw that was first in print, or somebody had first put it up in like 1877. So it's been over 100 years. Been around for a long time. The basics around the law of attraction are everything is pure energy. So if you put out positive vibes, positive experiences will come into you. Likewise, if you put out negative thoughts and negative vibes, negative experiences will come into you. So you basically have total control of your life by the way you want to send out that signal. We talk a lot about it in some of our earlier videos about light givers and light takers. Obviously, light givers are giving out that positive energy. Light takers are putting out negative energy, which basically is taking away that light. But you have a saying around this, right?
I do. My family knows it all too well. You get what you give in this life. And that is really the simplest explanation of the law of attraction. You get what you give. Yeah. It's also the boomerang effect. You throw the boomerang and it comes back to you.
Yeah, I like that.
In the same manner.
Right. Yeah. So the big difference between the two, and the reason why I liked reality transurfing when I first found it out there, it's basically the fact that all of your options are out in front of you. So if you sit out there and look out at your future, reality transurfing basically states, they call it in the space of variations, that every opportunity is out there in front of you, an infinite amount of pathways that you can take. So if you want to live in a certain area of the country or a certain area of the planet with a certain person and have certain things in your life, that is out there. You can see it. Basically, it's like a film, a movie that plays out. You take one of the slides out of the film, and that's your vision board, if you will, to focus on and feel it. And that's where it probably becomes more like the law of attraction, where you actually focus on the good, and you can feel it and experience it. And there's a lot you do through attentions to bring that in. But the two differences are law of attraction. You're basically manifesting something. Reality transurfing, it's already out there. You just go claim it, right? And then we wanted to talk a little bit about relationships. You had some questions around importance that I guess were confusing.
Exactly. So just to reiterate what Jeffrey just said, both the law of attraction and reality transurfing prescribe your thoughts and emotions reflect back to us in the form of events. And reality transurfing, and this is specific to relationships, reality transurfing prescribes not putting too much importance on our relationships, right? And this is why I wanted to do this video, because it has tripped me up. And Jeffrey knows so much more about reality transurfing than I do. You started exploring it about a year or so ago, and you were so excited about it, and I would say infatuated with it. So much so that I was, we do so much together, but this was something that you had been listening to, in your office while you were working, and I hadn't really been part of it. And I became so intrigued with it because you were just so passionate about it that I had to start, listening to Vadim and anyone and everyone that was out on YouTube talking about this, what is this reality transurfing? So now that I'm listening to a lot of it, what I keep hearing over and over, and I think I've heard it 6 times in the past 2 weeks, is that they say, do not put too much importance on relationships. And
any goal.
Or any goal. But I specifically am talking about relationships because that really is our expertise. We'll be celebrating 29 years next month. So, and it's not
29 of the best years of my life.
Exactly. I thank you, and I feel the same. I don't want to say that we've been together just for 29 years. we have had an amazing relationship that is above and beyond, you know, anything that I think most people can expect. But you should expect it, because we're here to tell you that it is available. And in reality transurfing, everything is available.
That's right.
And so, you know, I was telling Jeffrey earlier that I had always, before I knew what reality transurfing was, you know, since I was a little girl, I always knew that was the slide that I wanted to choose. I wanted to have this incredible relationship. I envisioned it. I saw it. It was so beautiful. It was so outrageous. This outrageous love, and I knew that I never was going to be interested in ordinary love. That just, I knew that from an early age. And I think, you know, before I knew what reality transurfing was, I saw that slide. I wrote about it. I dreamt about it. So when I was in a situation to have it, I had already known that it could be explosive and beautiful, like what we have.
Yeah, and then let me just add, because Karen said that she was a little girl and was using some of this. You know, you guys know, as you start to study any of this stuff, it's all innate within us. You know, there's nothing new out there. You basically know this stuff. You just have to be kind of reawakened to it. So a lot of these techniques that, you know, any of us are talking about out here are things that you're going to say, oh yeah, well, obviously that makes sense. But it's interesting when you say those things, because I think a lot of this stuff, before I started listening to all these, you know, tapes, again, they were cassette tapes when I started, motivational stuff, so I had a lot of these ideas, and before I did that, but, you know, went in and studied it, you know, for the last 30-something years, right?
Exactly. And it's just, you know, finding a name for it, or the fact that other people have experienced it, and then looking back to say, wow, you know, yes, I've experienced that as well, and I didn't realize that it was a theory. Right.
So back to your point, you want to, in reality transurfing, they basically teach you not to put too much importance on any goal, because if you put too much importance, you're putting that goal up on a pedestal, and the worry is that you put it so high on a pedestal you can't reach it. It's just above me. It's too much money. I haven't made this money before, so you don't want to put too much importance on it. You want to be thinking about, yeah, that money's out there, that's an option. It's there for me because it's one of the realities out there in the space of variation, so it already exists. So it's not too important. I'll get to it when I get to it. Sometimes it takes more time, but you had a problem with the word importance.
Exactly. Well, and again, reality transurfing relates to money. It relates to relationships. It relates to everything. I only had this issue when it related to relationships. So I'm going to draw back into talking specifically about relationships. And again, because we do feel that, you know, we have a lot of knowledge to give. A lot of people talk about reality transurfing and relationships that aren't in a relationship currently, or maybe haven't experienced a 29, almost 9-year relationship. So I do think that we have a lot of experience to offer. I'm not saying that our experience is better than someone else's who has had 2 years or 2 months or 2 weeks. I'm just saying our experience is different. It's had a longer span with a lot of, you know, time in between. So when I heard this over and over, and it's been on YouTube a lot recently, and specifically about relationships, and the comment is, do not put so much importance on relationships. And the issue that I have with that is, I understand where we don't want to put so much importance on the person. For example, when not the first time that I met Jeffrey, because that was 3 years before I ever saw him again. There was no contact in between. But when, you know, when we reconnected, and it was really obvious that there was something special about you, I also had this incredible calmness in my own life, where I was very complete and overflowing with my own self-love, that I was not putting much importance on whether or not anything was going to happen between us. And if it didn't happen, that would have been the way that it was supposed to be.
So you didn't put importance on it.
I didn't put importance on it.
Or too much importance.
Too much importance. But we also didn't have we were not in a relationship.
Right.
And this is the difference. It's confusing to me, and that's why I wanted to do this video on it, because I really want to get others' opinions on it. And Jeffrey and I have been talking about this all day, and I'm finding it more confusing the more I think about it. So we don't want to put so much importance on it, and therefore it worked out, right? Now, fast forward, we're into a relationship, okay? And we're both at a great place where we're both overflowing with love. So therefore, together, we can have this incredible relationship, right? I feel that's very important. And I feel that you and I both put a substantial amount of importance on our relationship.
Yes.
And that's where I'm having I don't want to call it a disconnect, but I'm having an issue with the word importance in the reality transurfing model, in that every time they talk about relationships, don't put so much importance on the relationship, because then it makes it something that you feel that you can't attain. I've attained it. You've attained it. What you and I have attained together, I saw this slide as a little girl, and I've been watching it my whole life, and have lived it, and am continuing to live it right now with you in this moment of time. And I find that I need to express to people, in case they're thinking that when they are in a relationship that they shouldn't put too much importance on it. I disagree with that statement, and think that when you are at this point,
you're talking about after you've actually got into the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So now you're in this relationship. This is it. This is the one, right? And very important to state, you're in the relationship and you are both at the right point. You're both overflowing with love, because it's so important to understand, and this is just an example. If I got into this relationship with you and I was feeling really good about myself, but I wasn't overflowing with love. Let's say I was in love with myself to here, or how about even to here? There's just, okay, I'm so in love with myself, but I'm not there, I'm still being very critical of certain things. I can't ever expect to go into a relationship like that and expect the other person to fill up that part of me. Any part, this part, this part, this part. It's unfair to think you can go into a relationship and have that, have this person fulfill that part of you.
Right.
So going back to the point is, we're in a relationship, we're both at that point, we're overflowing with so much love that we have so much to give to each other, okay? Now this relationship is solid. I guess my confusion is, and maybe you can shed light on it now that I think you really understand what I'm saying, is I'm hearing from the reality transurfing world, which I like to consider myself part of, but I'm hearing don't put so much importance on relationships. But yet I would tell people, as what I consider myself, in my expert opinion, to be an expert in our relationship, to do put importance on the relationship once you're at this stage where the relationship is solid and you're both committed.
Yeah, I think that's the key. So in reality transurfing, when you take that slide and you put it out there, that's your goal that you're going after. If you put too much importance on it, the whole worry is that you're going to set it outside of your reach, and that's the worry. Right. So what you're saying now, once you get inside of the relationship, it's very important. I think that's your problem with the words, right? It's very important.
Exactly.
But so
it's totally a play on this word important.
Well, it's very important. So once you're in the relationship, it's just like we said. It's you give off what you bring back in. So the law of attraction in reality transurfing both have quite a bit of overlap, and specifically where in reality transurfing they call it the mirror, where basically, the universe is giving you back what you put into the mirror because it's a reflection.
Right.
It just takes time. In a lot of attraction, it's energy. Again, there's a lot of overlap there. I think there's a lot of similarity. But basically, when you're in the relationship, to your point, if you're only half full, you didn't really love yourself and you weren't full and you were looking for someone else to fill it up, you're only putting out 50% of the relationship, right? Which, what do you expect to get back there, right? So, I mean...
And sometimes I don't even know if you're putting out the part that you're full. I think you're just trying to fill up the part that you're empty, which is so unfair.
So what does that do? What do you put out to the universe? I'm empty. I need to be filled.
Exactly.
It's very negative. You're attracting more negativity.
Absolutely.
Right.
And what partner wants that? I mean, I wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that. People don't deserve that in a relationship. That's not really a relationship. That's asking somebody to, fulfill your needs instead of participating in a relationship, right? That's a great point.
Yeah. So, going back to the two, I mean, they're both great theories. I mean, all this stuff, you study all of this, and as I said, there's really nothing new out there. It's all been out there. It's been done again. Right. But I do really like the twist of reality transurfing. So going back again to the law of attraction, just like it sounds, you're attracting in, what you're looking for by putting out that positive energy. You're attracting positiveness back in. So you're basically manifesting it. So you're thinking about the world that you want to be in, the person you want to be with, the money or the job or whatever it is, as if you were already there. So you're thinking about it, manifesting it, feeling it, taste it, smell it, what's it like to be there. Make that as real as you can. So you're manifesting it, making that happen. Mm-hmm. Whereas in reality transurfing, what I do like about it, everything's already out there. You don't have to, quote unquote, make it happen. It's already out there. You just have to go out and select which one of these life tracks you want to go on. Select a life track. I want to be out here. I want to live on an island, and I want to be an artist. I want to paint. I want to be with my love of my life, and it's going to look just like this. I can take a slide out and I can put it in front of me, and I can visualize that, and that takes me there. The piece I do like about it, it already exists, so it seems like it's less work, right? I mean, if you can get your head around that and buy off on it,
right,
it's less work. It's already there for you. That's what I like about it. As I'm talking to someone and working with them, whether it be in business or personal, and they're looking for advice, I mean, it's a great way to think about things.
Absolutely. I mean, it is so fascinating, and the more I learn about it, and I thank you for really bringing that into our lives, because your passion for it really ignited my passion for it, and now we're together. We can't seem to learn enough about it, which it's super cool that we know everything is out there. And again, you can almost look back into your life before you knew about this, and find situations where you may have selected a slide, right? And thought about it and dreamt about it and all that. I mean, Jim Carrey is a great example of that.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. He wrote the check to himself ahead of it, $10 million check.
Exactly.
Right?
And he also, in his mind, went over the conversations that he had with these people telling him how wonderful he was and his acting was so great, etc. So he pulled that slide out. We all have that ability to do it, and that's the beauty of learning about reality transurfing is the more you know, the more you can reach out and grasp those things that you want. But just pulling it back one more time to this word importance and in the relationship. So you are now in this solid relationship. I just want to stress to people not to be confused when you're learning about reality transurfing. I totally agree and am on board that we can't put too much importance on the relationship. And again, it
or any goal.
Exactly. It goes out to everything.
Right.
But again, I'm specifically talking about relationships here in this video, that we can't put too much importance on making it happen, or once we meet somebody, making sure that that person becomes, our soulmate. But after all that happens, after that magical moment of colliding, the two people's worlds colliding, and now you have made that decision, it is okay to put a lot of importance on the relationship. And it's under a different context because now, right?
You're using the word differently.
You're using the word differently.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what it took me so long to figure out as I'm watching these videos. And I just kept hearing in my mind, well, how can I not put importance on what is one of, if not the most important thing to me, my relationship with you and your relationship with me? And we really work very hard at making it a priority and making it the most important thing. And my philosophy is that if I don't make it the most important thing, if I don't make you the most important, then you won't feel that you're the most important to me, and you deserve that. You deserve to be the most important person to me, and vice versa. So it's really critical to make sure when you're learning about the law of attraction and you're learning about reality transurfing, not to misinterpret everything that's being said, or to understand where it applies and how it applies. Because if somebody misinterprets, now you're in this great relationship, well, I shouldn't really put too much importance on it though.
Yeah.
That would be a misinterpretation of the intended
all of these theories, so call them, are very simplistic. I mean, when you really boil it down, it's simple. And it's so simple that you wonder, why doesn't everybody do that? I mean, if I sat here and talked to anybody and said, hey, if you're a real positive person, more positivity is going to come back to you. No one's really going to argue with that for the most part. But they miss the point. And so, you can't say, hey, I'm going to get that job and I deserve it because of this, this, and this. But in the back of your mind saying, I'm really not cut out for that kind of work, or I really am not smart enough for that, or I really don't want to work that hard, or whatever it is. In the back of your mind, you can't have that doubt.
Right.
So, just like you're saying, if there's just a little tweak and you don't fully understand it, that's where the theory breaks down, right?
Exactly. So it's important to really, if you're interested in the reality transurfing and the law of attraction world, it's important to really listen to a lot of different views on it, because everything is an interpretation.
Yeah, and it's real easy to pull out the basics and follow the basics, and don't get too caught up in it either. It's just It's pretty simple to follow, but that's what I like about it. So good stuff.
Excellent. Well, thanks for doing this video with me, because you know that I was so passionate about discussing it with you, and I feel relieved that I understand now that it's the interpretation of the word.
Yeah, it's great.
I
Good
appreciate
stuff.
that.
Good stuff.
Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the nest at Copper Mountain.
You guys, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to have some more chats about this kind of stuff, I'm sure, and a lot of other things around living your best life. So we'd love to have you guys on board. So go ahead and subscribe. Thanks.